I'm going to show you how to make Ainsley's homemade blenderized diet. We start with a large 8-cup mixing bowl. This is made by Pampered Chef, and I actually picked it up at the Goodwill. It's a perfect device for making her food. I can mix everything in here. I'm pouring the milk in up to 1 1/4 cups. I start off with that, and then I add 3/4 of a cup of mixed grain. I usually like to buy Earth's Best, but for some reason it's been really hard to find lately. I like to use a powdered grain like this and mix it with the milk to absorb, excuse me. Oh, no do-overs on this because we can't start over. So anyway, the rice cereal, mixed grain rice cereal is absorbed with the milk, and I find that allows me to keep the overall volume down. I've also tried using mixed grain cereal, homemade, cooked in a crock pot, but I find that this is just the easiest way to do it, and we like easy. So I start out with that, let that sit for a minute. I use 1 real fresh banana. I kind of like the more smaller sized. And I put that in, and then I add blueberries, about 1/4 cup. But I've been doing this for so long that I can just guess. I don't even really need to measure it. And I add them frozen. Makes it easy. So I start out with that, and I have my orange juice ready. I always like to shake it just to make sure it's getting all of the stuff from the bottom. Add a little bit of orange juice, about 1/4 cup. And then I use my handy stick blender, which you can buy at any store for, I think, about 20 bucks. They're not expensive at all. And I actually have found that this works better than a nice blender, which I have used as well. But this is easy to clean. I can just rinse it off and then put it in the dishwasher. It's small. I use the 1 bowl. I can really get it nicely pureed. So here we go. This is how you do it. I push down to get the banana ground up and get the blueberries. With a stick blender, you always want to make sure that these holes are under the liquid, or you'll end up splattering it all over your kitchen. There we go. That looks pretty good. All the blueberries are pretty well ground up. The banana's completely pureed. That rice cereal was dissolved in the milk, so that's nice and smooth. So you've got a good texture to start with here. I add about 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I like to use ingredients that are easy, economical, you know, minimal packaging, so that I don't have to deal with lots of containers and dishes and whatnot. So rather than using, for example, baby food apples, I use regular applesauce. And that way I just open it up, pour in about 1/4 cup, and I'm done. I can reuse it. It costs a lot less that way, and I find that it's easier and faster, and then I don't have more containers to wash. Now these, I actually used real baby food, which you can do if you don't mind paying for baby food and you like the convenience. Then this is the easiest way to go. I've got a mixed greens in here that I actually made by myself, and then I reuse these containers and I fill it in here and put it in the freezer. And then every day I just make sure to take out all of my frozen purees and put it in the refrigerator for the next day. If you forget, you can thaw it in the microwave, and I have to do that plenty of times. So then we put these foods in here. They're a little bit frozen still from yesterday, but they'll blend up just fine in the bowl here. Carrots, which I made myself, and then the meat, I like to give her a good amount of protein. This is all chicken puree with some stock in it. And the way that I have found that is easiest to do this is to take ground chicken or ground turkey and cook it in the crock pot with a small amount of water. Like 2 pounds of meat to 2 cups of water. and then you puree it with the stick blender or with the blender. It's kind of easier with the blender to get a really good fine blending of this. Okay, so we're going to plop these in here. That one's still a little frozen, but that's okay. And then I rewash these, so I just throw these in a tub in the sink. And we put in our liquid vitamins. I used to use an omega-3 oil, 369, that I loved, but unfortunately I'm having trouble finding it, so I'm just using olive oil, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And that's it. So here we go. Yeah, that's a little more frozen than normal today, but it'll be all right. There we go. Now I like to get it to exactly about 4 cups, so I check and it's a little bit under. So I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. Blend it again. That's pretty good. Sometimes if I want to make it a little bit thinner, I'll add just a bit more orange juice instead of milk, just because it thins more than milk does. And I do like to get it to just the right consistency. If it's too thick, it's hard to get out of the jars. If it's too thin, then I think it's, well, too thin. Sometimes I change out some of the ingredients. If you use the same ingredients every time, it should be exactly the same every single time. But for simplicity's sake, we're just assuming that you use the same ingredients every day. So there we go. Now we just fill the bottles. So I use 8-ounce bottles, glass, with tops that I got from the hospital. Make a really nice seal. I fill it just slightly over 8 ounces. That allows me to make sure that she gets the full 8 ounces of food. All of this is in an Excel spreadsheet, so I know exactly the protein, water content, and calories that she's getting. And her dietitian has approved this, and her doctors as well. Okay, here we go. Last container. If you make it a little bit fuller, then you don't have to do this, but I scrape the bowl. You can do this any way you like, really. The nice thing about this method is that she gets a consistent amount of calories. I know exactly what she's getting, and it's the same. I would love to be able to vary her diet, and I think at some point we will do that, but for now this provides a really steady source of calories, and I know exactly what she's getting, and that makes me happy and it makes her doctors happy. So there we go. We've got 4 bottles of food. Now I just put these tops on and we're done. It wasn't so hard. Making the purees takes about the most amount of time, and then washing the containers, but that's it. So she's got 4 8-ounce feedings right here ready to go, and in fact she's hungry, so I'm going to feed her now.